Good day, and thank you for tuning in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast for all of our new listeners and viewers who are tuning in for the very first time. I'm Pastor Pope, and thank you for allowing us to come into your viewing environment. We are here with you every Monday through Friday from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, broadcasting live from the FijiWater.com sponsored studio, where you can discuss careers, finances, entrepreneurship. You can discuss marriage, divorce, raising children, blending families. You can discuss marriage and relationships, whatever's in your heart, whatever's on your mind. God is concerned about that which concerns you. And so we are here with you every Monday through Friday from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast, which is brought to you daily by Fiji Water, Earth's finest water. You may already know that Fiji water comes from Fiji. However, did you know that it is created by nature? It is untouched by man. It starts as a tropical rainfall which slowly filters through layers of volcanic rock, where the water collects in a natural, sustainable artesian aquifer, where it is bottled right at the source, free from human contact until you unscrew the blue cap. Fiji Water, Earth's finest water, will be delivered right to your front door when you subscribe for delivery. And you'll save money at FijiWater.com. This is not just ordinary water. This is Earth's finest water at FijiWater.com. And for those of you who continue giving on the give segment of our app at New Life-Delaware, and those of you that have made a weekly or monthly commitment to support the broadcast by giving on the contribution pages of our websites at NewLifeMinistriesInternational.com and NewLifeInternationalCDC.com, and those of you who use the QR code or the link that is provided on Facebook and YouTube, we thank all of you for your support and for your commitment as we fulfill our commitment to God to be here for you in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. And I'm going to ask you all to pardon the lack of clarity in my voice today because I'm suffering with my allergies today. But I do want to say to all of our listeners and viewers, I just want to remind you that we are Facebook Live, we're YouTube Live, we're RadioFreeNetwork.com Live. If you go to RadioFreeNetwork.com and you click on radio, the drop box will appear. If you click on the New Life link, every broadcast will be available to you. And while you're there, we want you to stay connected with us by tuning in, clicking on the WKAP link, which is for our 24-hour internet radio station, WKAP Faith Empowerment Radio, where we play music 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, music that will encourage you, empower you, and inspire you to become the best version of yourselves that we could possibly become. You can reach us at WKAPfaith.com. And I want to remind all of our listeners and viewers, I'm inviting everyone that's in our area to come and celebrate with us for Family and Friends Day on Sunday, September the 11th. Service begins at 10 a.m. We will have a guest with us for praise and worship on that Sunday morning at 10 a.m. It will be the Choir School of Delaware who will be leading us in praise and worship on that Sunday. So we invite you to come and worship with us at 10 a.m. We are also going to have a gaming limousine for the children and young people who like to play video games from Tri-State Limousine. So we want everyone to have a good time. There will be a barbecue immediately following Sunday service. All of it is free, fun, and fellowship at New Life Christian Center, 400 Hillcrest Avenue in Wilmington, Delaware, 19809. If you're not in our area, you can tune in for the Sunday sermon at 10:45 a.m. on Family and Friends Day at New Life Christian Center, 400 Hillcrest Avenue, Wilmington, Delaware, 19809. I'm going to address a communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that you are always making certain that everyone else is okay, and you're starting to realize that you do not allow you yourself to ever completely relax. And you want to know, how can you really change your mindset about relaxation and not worrying about everyone else and their issues. So, it's really interesting that you sent this communication, because a lot of people find themselves spending more time focusing on other people than on themselves. And that's never going to be the ingredient for a relaxing life, because you're not only going to have your own ebbs and flows, you're concerned about everyone else's ebbs and flows. You can, and I said this long ago to some of our listeners and viewers, you cannot be all things to all people. You can't be all things to everyone. You've been taught to care about others. That's not a bad thing. We all have to be cognizant and aware of the challenges that people face in life so that we can pray for them. But we can't intervene. And the reason that we can't intervene is because one of the things I often say is that anytime you start getting in the way of what God is doing in the life of someone else, you're in the way. You're in God's way. And that's never going to allow you to rest in the Lord, because your spirit's always going to be challenged. Your spirit's always going to be vexed. And the reason is because you're not getting any relaxation. You're always on the edge of the cliff, making certain that no one else falls off. The truth of the matter is that people have to learn to stay away from the edge. And the only way they're going to learn to stay away from the edge is if they allow God to do what God is doing in their life, and if you allow God to do what he's doing in their life. So one of the things you're going to have to realize is that it's time for you to focus on yourself. Focus on your own life. There was a little clever video some time ago that went around where a little girl, pardon me, where a little girl was talking to her father, and she was sitting in the back seat. She was trying to put on her seatbelt, and her father was asking her, basically, was she okay? She said, worry about yourself. And I'm saying that and using that from a different perspective. You don't need to worry about yourself. You need to focus on yourself. And right now I'm going to focus on me for one moment, because I needed a sip of Earth's finest water, Fiji water, because my allergies are really, really causing me some difficulty today. Now, normally I would have only taken three gulps, but I really needed that. So I want to say this to you. You have a life that you have to live. And you have to begin to live your life in a way that it's going to give you relaxation and peace. It's something I often talk about in our church. And and people in our church will remind me from time to time that I've said this about staying in their peace. And I use an example often because my wife and I have a door hanger that is a small pillow. And on that pillow it says peace. And the reason we hang it on the door is because we don't want anything other than peace in our home. We don't want anyone crossing our threshold and disrupting our peace. So that's always our reminder that anytime we're walking through our home and we have the opportunity to pass by our front door, we can see that pillow and it says peace, because that's where you're resting in the Lord. The reason it's a pillow is because when you rest, most people sleep on the pillow. When you rest, you lay your head on a pillow, and so it says peace. What you've got to find is your peace in your own life, and stop focusing on the life of others, which is then going to disrupt your peace. And even if it doesn't disrupt your peace to a point where your life is disturbed, it is not going to allow you to rest in the Lord. One thing we don't want to do is walk around with our bodies being tensed up all the time, because we know sooner or later someone's going to tell you that they're not okay, that they've gotten to the cliff and they feel like they're about to fall off, and you come to the rescue every single time. You cannot do that and rest in the Lord. You cannot do that and have peace in your life, because sooner or later someone's going to disrupt that peace. So you've got to begin focusing on yourself and focusing on the quality of your own life. Other people are going to live their lives, and you've got to allow them to live their lives. See, it's an issue for all of us who understand that there's always going to be wealth, there's always going to be poverty, and then in the midst of that, there's always going to be crisis, drama, chaos, crisis, and drama. So we've got to stay out of the mix of the chaos, the crisis, and the drama. And most people thrive on having drama going on around them. That's why they have, dramas on television, because they know people thrive on it. It's just a trick of the enemy to disrupt our peace, to disrupt the quality of our lives, disturb the quality of our lives. Jesus said, I came that you might have life and you might have it more abundantly. In other words, he wants you to rest in him, and he wants you to have a great quality of life. Can't do that trying to take care of everyone else, making certain everybody else is okay. What about you? How's that disrupting your psyche? How's that impacting your quality of life? You've got to really begin to focus on yourself and rest in the Lord. People get bored when they don't have crisis and drama going on. I don't understand that. Because if you're in a relationship with the Lord, you should desire to rest in him. Now, that doesn't mean that we don't all get tired sometimes. We get tired because we're working constantly, we're busy with life, we're busy with our home life, our professional life. We get tired from time to time. You rest if you must, you just don't quit. You get rejuvenated, refreshed in the Lord, get rest, and start all over again. But then when you allow other people to enter into your life with their own issues of life, then that becomes a problem. You only do that from a philanthropic or a charitable perspective, helping others. You can't do that from a personal perspective, because it's going to disrupt your psyche. It's going to have an impact on your ability to rest in the Lord. It's going to have an impact on your quality of life. And that is not what God has appointed, ordained, or purposed for our lives. It's what we do to disrupt our psyche. God doesn't want our psyche disrupted. He doesn't want our quality of life disrupted. He wants us to have peace. Perfect peace, actually. Not just peace that surpasses all understanding. I wish we had a pillow that's on our door hanger that said perfect peace, but it was too small for them to. It's only about a 4x4 pillow hanging on a rope that hangs on our door hanger. I'm saying all of that to say God wants us to have peace. He wants us to rest in him. So you've got to take everybody else out of the equation. Stop worrying about or even being concerned about everyone else. everyone else is going to be okay. You started off with saying you're making certain that they're okay. Well, that's not your job. They're going to be okay. You got to focus on you. Focus on your life. Focus on your quality of life. Focus on your peace in mind and spirit. And you'll begin to see how much more relaxed you are resting in the Lord and taking other people's problems out of your equation. I'm not talking about not being philanthropic. I'm not talking about not being charitable. I'm talking about just taking everyone else's problems out of your personal life and allowing them to live their lives and hopefully experience the Lord. This segment of the broadcast is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. So if you're not currently a T-Mobile customer, you may call or text on the T-Mobile call or text line at 267-992-1424. We will move you into our queue so that you may become a T-Mobile customer and experience America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. Taxes and fees are included in your bill, and if you auto pay by attaching a credit card to your account, you will receive a discount on your monthly bill. T-Mobile, America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that you are finding it difficult to balance your personal and professional life to achieve the level of success you desire. Now, I love it when people are really getting it about working to accomplish success and learning to maximize their success so that we can experience the fullness of God. So, when you say that you are finding it difficult to balance your personal life and your professional life to achieve the success, you have to focus more on your professional life than you focus on your personal life. That's something that society did to us, and sometimes I think it was intentional, but that's a whole nother topic. And people came up with little catchy phrases like, you don't have to work hard, just work smart. Well, that's not true. And what that created was a different psyche for some people. You don't have to work hard, just work smart. So people were just trying to work smart and avoid the hard work that it requires to be successful. And what they didn't realize is you have to work hard and you have to work smart. So you have to be effective and efficient. Working hard means that you're being effective. Working smart means that you're being efficient. So you're not wasting time and you are maximizing the use of every hour of every day. That's efficient. It also means that you're not taking shortcuts, but you're learning new methods that are going to allow you to maximize the time. But being effective means that you're getting results. So you have to work hard and you have to work smart. But there's also something else you have to do, and that is you have to be intentional about everything that you're doing. So you have to realize that your professional life is always going to take up more time of your day than your personal life. That's another mistake that we've allowed society to teach us, is that we don't have to be intentional about anything, that we can just do whatever we want to do, the way we want to do it, and live with the results. That's a recipe for disaster. It's not going to lead to success, and it's not going to allow us to maximize our success. So we have to be intentional about everything. And if you have a 7-year plan, you have to examine your plan. So I'll give you an example. So I was studying on Sunday, and I was reading yesterday, and one of the things that God spoke to me about and revealed to me was, take some time right now. Now, mind you, this quarter will not end until the end of September. But as I said, when we are intentional about our time with God, our relationship with the Lord, God reveals to you. So, I have 7-year plan, 14-year plan. We have 21-year plan, a 28-year plan, a 35-year plan, a 42-year plan, a 49-year plan. And I say all of that to say, God wanted me to look at the next 7 years, and so I was looking at, we're in the midst of our 21-year plan right now, for the church, the CDC, for all that we're doing, all of the vision that God has given us. And so he specifically had me looking at the next 2 years and just examining whatever revisions need to be made. Then the next 3 years, because there's some very specific things that God's going to do in that period of time. And then the last 2 years, but we're already in the midst of our 21-year plan. So I know what God is doing in that time, but he wanted me to really go over the next 7 years. And so I was really focusing on that. And I will say this, I'm being intentional by saying this. God, I know that what you have me reviewing now, you have so much more in store. I know there's so much more that you're doing in the spiritual realm that I can't see in the physical realm. But if you'll reveal it to me, I'll walk it out. In other words, I'm going to be intentional. I'm committed to that. And here's what I said. And it's okay to have conversations with God. And here's what I said to him. I said, I'm committed to doing it your way. You've been opening doors no man can shut. I pray every day you close the doors you don't want me to enter. You got to be intentional about your conversation with God. You've got to be able to balance your relationship with God and everything else in life is second. It's interesting because, it doesn't mean that we don't get to enjoy some things in life, right? It doesn't mean that. I want to take my grandson to hit some golf balls. I enjoy spending time with my grandson, but I know that God has to come first, and everything else is going to be secondary. But I do know that he'll give me time to spend, for us to have some time with our grandson, because that's part of the quality of life that God gives to us. And so I'm saying that to say, you've got to really focus more on your professional life than you do on your personal life. Examine where you are in your 7-year plan. Be intentional about every day of it. Make certain that you're not wasting any time, that you know every hour of the day what you're going to do, where you're going to be. You've got to make certain that you examine your plan, make whatever revisions are necessary, and then work the plan. I can promise you, God will take you where he wants you to go. If you just be more intentional about your relationship with him, be more intentional about your professional life, and then realize that you'll have some personal time. But so many people, and again, society has taught us this, so many people think that it's more important to enjoy their personal life than it is to build their professional life. And that leads to getting downsized, a lack of job security, a lack of success. How can you maximize your success if you don't have success at doing anything? Because you're so worried about what you get to do personally that you lose sight of what's important professionally. And there's a reason that God has laid out what's necessary to be successful. Write the vision, make it plain. My people will perish through the lack of knowledge. Give a portion to 7 and a portion to 8. So, investing, working, saving, investing, allocating capital, being charitable, being philanthropic, all of those things are going to add to the quality of our lives. What we do personally without realizing that what God wants us to do is more important is never going to allow us to maximize our success. You'll have some success because you know the Lord, but will you have the opportunity to maximize your success? And that's really the key. Because when you maximize your success, you begin to experience the fullness of God. Because God knows you're ready. Forget about God knowing your heart. You want God to know you're ready for what he has in store for your life. This segment of the broadcast is brought to you by PorscheAmerica.com. If you are in the market for one of the finest high-performance automobiles ever manufactured, go to PorscheAmerica.com. Find a dealership in your area. Go and visit. Look at the inventory they have available. If they do not have what you want available, then go to PorscheAmerica.com. You will be able to build out exactly what you desire to own in a Porsche. And they will ship and deliver to the dealership of your choice. If you're in our area, you can stop in at PorscheDelaware.com. Ask to speak to Mike Didio, General Manager, Porsche Delaware. He will make certain that you have the opportunity to view what they have in inventory, in their floor plan, what they have available to you. And if you need to order, they will help you place an order for your new Porsche, one of the finest high-performance automobiles ever manufactured. PorscheDelaware.com, one of our sponsors for our annual Achievers Golf Tournament. If you already own a Porsche and you are just in need of service, contact PorscheDelaware.com. Ask to speak to Mike Adams, Service Manager, Porsche Delaware. He will have an appointment scheduled for you. They will drop off a loaner to you, pick up your vehicle at your home or office, and return your vehicle to you once your service has been completed. Go to PorscheDelaware.com. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that your husband thinks you are too aggressive at times with everyone. Pardon me, all the time with everyone. However, you do not like people trying to take advantage of you. So let me just say this, because this is really not that complicated. That's just your perception. That's your perception because many of us have been in environments where we've had to be at war all the time. It's not your, no one can take advantage of you unless you allow them. So you have to change your perception. Everybody's not out to get you. But you have to realize that the enemy is out to get you. So you have to be aware, and you have to stay girded up. You have to stay prayed up. You have to keep your mind right and focused on life. Don't get distracted. But you have to change your perception. Everybody's not trying to take advantage of you. Everybody's not out to get you. It's only the enemy who's out to get you. And if you resist the enemy, he'll stay away from you. He will flee. If you embrace him, he will stay. So it's important to know who we have around us all the time. That's important. But you also have to make certain that you don't allow this perception that you have that everybody's out to get you right now, that people are trying to always take advantage of you. You've got to realize that your husband's right. There's going to have to be some adjustments in the attitude, and you're going to have to realize that you don't have to be aggressive all the time. It's not necessary. There's an old adage that says you'll catch more. Now, I don't know why you want to catch flies, but you'll catch more. How about this? You'll catch more bees with honey than you will with vinegar. Today's Daily Divine Direction broadcast, 3D, has been brought to you by Fiji Water. A taste of paradise will be delivered right to your front door when